A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I'm your humble host, Mike Gargoni, and joining me, as always, the Atichiktuk to my Lumpawaru, it's John Campbell.
Hello, everybody. Oh boy, this is a tough
That's
one.
lumpy and itchy for those who want to stick to the OG names.
Yeah. Oh boy,
I was saying it in the traditional Shriwook, of course, respecting the culture.
Yes, respect them. Of course, we respect the Wookiee people.
Even if one is a masturbating grandpa.
I mean, here you go, folks. You're like, oh, we can safely put the holiday special behind us. The Marvel comic says, nay, remember the holiday special. Much like remember the Alamo.
Look, the holiday special is our Alamo, and we all died trying to get out.
Remember the holiday special.
Yeah. Listen, we're covering issue number 91 of the original Marvel Star Wars comic. This issue was published in January of 1985, but it will not let us forget the events of summer of 78, okay? Because something aired on TV that will forever haunt us as Star Wars fans.
Summer of 78? Wouldn't that be holiday time
was
of
it,
78?
Was it the holidays time of 78? I don't actually know when it aired.
Let me find the exact. November 17th, 1978.
All right.
Just in time for your family holiday gathering. It aired once and never again.
Never again. Yeah, this issue, For Her Sins, written by Joe Duffy. Penciled by Tony Salmons. We have inks by Tom Palmer, colors by Glennis Oliver, then Ween. We have letters by Ken Bruzenak. And we have a familiar editing team here with Nascenti and Shooter as our editor/editor-in-chief, respectively.
It is so weird to return to a time when you're like, I want to write a story set on the Wookiee homeworld. And they go, remember they did that holiday special. Like the idea that's like, oh shit, I'm going to have to acknowledge that. Like the idea that in the head of these people, that's still canon is crazy.
Yeah. Okay. We got a mild recap for those just joining us in the Star Wars comic universe. I believe if you go into where is our review of the Marvel or the Star Wars holiday special? Is that in the is that behind the paywall at this point?
Yeah, I think it's one of our panel up episodes, which is on our.
So if you're one of our patrons, you can go find us talking at length about the Star Wars holiday special. Yeah. We're not going to recap it here other than to say that it exists and that it establishes both the Wookiee homeworld and Chewbacca's family. And those two facts are relevant to this story.
And I would say it is for a thing that has, for all of George Lucas's attempts to wipe it from existence, it is something that is pretty well known to people.
It is, because it's the Streisand effect, right? Like you try to bury something and that just brings more attention to it.
Honestly, if he had just done nothing about it and just not spoken about it, period, I think people would have just been like, oh yeah, there was kind of like a holiday special, wasn't there? But instead it becomes like, he doesn't want us to see it?
Right.
We got to see this.
That's exactly what happened with the Ewok movies, right? The Ewok TV movies are just quietly exist. You can watch them on Disney Plus right now, and they're whatever. They're not great, but no one tried to hide them or destroy the evidence of them.
Because I remember watching them as a kid and knowing, this is lesser than.
Sure.
I was like, oh, more Star Wars, but then going right, this isn't like the Star Wars I like, you know?
But yeah, there was sort of no attempt to erase them.
He made it taboo, and so all of a sudden we're like, well, I got to see this. If he doesn't want us to see it, oh man, this has got to be something. And the answer is, number one, I think I recommended this on there, and I'll recommend this here again. A Disturbance in the Force, which is the documentary about the holiday special. I would say is a must watch for Star Wars fans, and I would say actually watch that instead of the holiday special, because while the holiday special is a fun relic, it is very tough to sit through.
And here's the thing, by me saying to audiences in general, and I've had people in my life like have this same response, me saying, don't watch this, just like George Lucas is telling you, makes you go like, oh, but now I shouldn't watch it. So maybe I should.
The secret of, and why we're saying don't watch it is not because it's bad. I mean, it is bad, but we're saying because it's boring. It's actually really tough to watch.
It's tough to watch. There's like weird bits to it that are just like disconcerting to see, like how coked out Carrie Fisher is, and like Luke Skywalker's weird glam look, and
the weird makeup on Harrison Ford dying inside. Chewie, we're gonna get you home for life. Fucking hell.
Let alone the like masturbating grandpa Wookie.
The comedy legend Harvey Korman just debasing himself in bad comedy sketches. It's all so weird.
And there's one good little animated segment in there that introduced Boba Fett, and you can find that online and watch that.
Yes, that is the only thing worth watching, and I would say one of the few things that has really somewhat continued from it, at least in design, because of course the tuning fork rifle. Jon Favreau loves to put in little Easter eggs, but I wouldn't say that's ever been made canon. Life Day is a thing now, and every year Disneyland does a big Life Day celebration, and I think that's fine. The idea that there is a Wookiee holiday called Life Day, but Chewbacca's family is basically not in canon anymore.
No, they are.
We've talked about this. It's up for debate to some extent. What do you mean? That these characters, Itchy and Lumpy, are in canon?
Itchy, Lumpy, and Mala have been reintroduced in novels and comic books since the Disney acquisition. I promise you.
They?
Yeah, 100%.
Let's see here. What have they
I believe Chewie's family was mentioned in one of the Aftermath books by Chuck Wending, and I believe there is a Life Day special that is in the sequel era in which Rey meets Chewie's son.
Oh man, that shouldn't be.
I promise you it exists.
Well, I said we've talked about this, and I think we've talked about this exact same thing before, right? Which is, it's very weird to imagine him having a wife and child in and around the events of those movies and everything.
Well, it gets into the fantasy element of Star Wars, right? Because we establish, and it's made perfectly clear in the Solo film, that Chewbacca and Wookiees as a whole are an incredibly long-lived species.
Right.
And so you get into this weird time scale thing where it's like, okay, Chewie can be away from his family for decades at a time, and that's just like a long weekend to them.
Yeah.
It's the same with like Lord of the Rings elves, right? Like when you're incredibly long-lived, time scale means something different to you as a species.
The inclusion of her of the family, I'm reading specifically Mala's Wikipedia entry. It does seem like the way they've been included makes more sense now. Yeah. Like they're not just waiting on Kashyyyk back for him. They've subsequently been imprisoned and separated.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense than the idea that he just has a suburban family waiting for him back on his homeworld. And also, I don't know that that Grandpa has been around too much.
I don't know if Itchy has been I think he's been mentioned. I don't think he's been like explicitly shown as much as Lumpy and Mala.
I'm looking at him here,
But so here's the thing
also
about
they are not called any of those things. They are called by their full Wookiee names at all times now.
Atichikatuk, or how do you say this? Atichikatuk.
I love the idea about, like, man, you couldn't just change the names. Like, you still have to stick to it because they needed it to be Itchy, Lumpy, and Lumpawaru.
Lumpawaru's not bad.
Lumpawaru is okay. And Mala, and she's Mala Takabuk.
Yeah. But so you said earlier about having this idea of a suburban family waiting for him at home being like a very strange and dissonant idea in Star Wars. And obviously
Well, specifically with Wookiees, because we know about, Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk specifically has, at least in the current canon, been placed under the Imperial thumb, and basically the whole population has been put into like slave labor. And
right.
That begins to be addressed in this issue of this comic book. That's sort of where it starts.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. That's interesting.
So let's get into it. Let's get to the cover here. We start with, hey everyone. Hey kids, it's your favorite character, Han Solo.
There he is. And Chewbacca, who appears wounded or unconscious. And then my favorite detail of this cover, I don't have time to draw all the Wookiee faces, so we'll put a lot of detail on Chewbacca and then just very simple dots for eyes and lines for mouths on all the other Wookiees, who also all are just Chewbacca. Because we know Wookiees all look different and have different colored fur and different facial features. Here, though, it's just Chewbacca with really simple little faces here.
It's baby Chewbacca's.
Yeah. Chewbacca, I didn't know you had so many kids. Jesus, how many wives you got, man? Good God.
That's just the one.
Yeah, it's just the one. Can I also just say, since I'm still on the Wikipedia page, I love that they have the Chewbacca family tree.
Oh, yeah.
And that the space for his parents, it's Chichituk, or whatever we said it was. And then it just says Chewbacca's mother. Presumably he has a mother. That has never been gone into.
File not found.
Yeah. Yeah. A female individual who was the mother of Chewbacca presumably lived on the planet Kashyyyk. We don't know.
Good assumption as any.
There's a story, folks. Hey, somebody write a novel about that. Do a love story about Itchy and Chewbacca's mother.
But yeah, there's some weird framing on this page simply because compared to Chewbacca, Han Solo is a giant.
Yeah, there's some weird. This is a bad cover. I gotta say, I'm sorry. I have to imagine this was tossed off or something because
it's fine. I don't know.
There's some. I mean, it's a fine idea, but there is definitely some of the detailing here, and yes, some of the spatial relations are a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we should mention in the foreground there appears to be, I guess, Wookiee hands, but really feel very Sasquatchy.
I mean, that's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It's
true, but there's menacing hands coming into frame.
Lest we forget that short story. I think it was fan made of Indiana Jones finding Sasquatch, and it's just Chewbacca who's crash landed on Earth.
Yeah, boy, people love that idea, don't they?
Sure, it's fun.
Yeah. Let's get the Harrison Ford franchises together.
Anyway, here's a really detailed Chewbacca.
Oh, yeah. There he is, close up. That's our boy. That's a glam shot.
With the with the new branding for Wookie World, everyone's favorite amusement park.
Come on down to Wookie World this weekend. It's half off if you're under 12.
75% off if you got hair above the neck.
Yeah. By the way, is this a new artist for us, Tony Salmons?
Yeah, we haven't really seen Tony Salmons around before. He's a guy.
Well, I mean, I do think, Tony Salmons, there he is. He's still alive.
Yeah, he's one of those artists at Marvel that is just like, he's one of those names you'll see around. I couldn't really tell you, any of the, big books he's worked on over the years, because I'm
looking at his comics lab here, and he doesn't have any particularly long runs on anything. So I think that's why it's seemed to do the most on Savage Sword of Conan,
which I love me some Savage Sword of Conan, but issue of Web of Spider-Man, issue of Star Wars, issue of Marvel Fanfare, a little bit of Dakota North, nice.
Yeah. He was an artist on Batman the Animated Series, though, so that's pretty cool.
Okay. So, but he's here for an issue, and he's here to draw some Wookiees, and I think he does an admirable job.
And this is it. This is his lone Star Wars effort.
Yeah. So they needed a Wookiee guy, and they went for Salmons.
Yeah, Salmons. Hey, Salmons, you draw Wookiees? I guess you're in.
I draw Wookiees.
Yeah. So anyway, Chewbacca's here and he's going, Grouk!
Yeah, and Lando's like, "Geez, Chewie, I'm sorry. Calm down."
Hey, come on now. Chewbacca, calm down, please. It's not my fault, okay? I'm your friend. You know I would never do anything to make you mad. Don't you?
Because Chewie's real mad at Lando, and we cut to a wide shot of Lando's ship, the Cobra, parked next to the Millennium Falcon, and they are nestled up in some trees on Kashyyyk.
Did someone say Cobra?
No.
What? No. Okay, I'll go.
Wrong comic book. Get out of here.
I think the Cobra Commander's sheepishly walking away. So anyway, but yes, Chewie is very mad that they couldn't land their ships closer to where his family lives. But he's like, this is where they told us to land.
Yeah. And we have them refer to this planet as Kashyyyk.
Yeah, Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk. Yeah, it's weird. It's strange.
Kazhyyyk, whereas the normal spelling of Kashyyyk is Kashyyyyk, right?
Right, which makes it a clear Kashyyyk. This is, as you said, this would be Kashyyyk.
Here's this line here sent me down a spiraling rabbit hole this morning.
Yeah, you were talking about this earlier. We were talking about this before, that you really fell down the rabbit hole of Kashyyyk history here.
I did. Specifically production history, right? Because normally I'm all about, like, the lore side of things.
Not the continuity history of it, but the actual, like, because did they say Kashyyyk in the holiday special?
No, they say Kazook.
Yes, they do. Now that you say that I am reminded. Yes, they do, which is wrong.
It is, but it isn't. So, okay. Let me explain.
What?
The word for the Wookiee home planet is never said in the original trilogy, right? It never comes up. There is this apocryphal story that the end of Return of the Jedi was supposed to take place on the Wookiee homeworld, but then it just didn't. In my research this morning, it seems like that story is apocryphal. Like, there's not a lot of evidence to actually suggest that that's true. And, like, a lot of stuff put out by Lucasfilm in the 90s when they were putting out that bevy of, like, annotated scripts and, like, making of books seems to indicate that was never Lucas's original intent. But again, that's Lucas maybe retroactively saying, like, no, it was always supposed to be Ewoks.
There's a lot of stuff like that where Lucas has rewritten history, and then people who are around or documents from the era have shown up and been like, actually, he was going to do the complete opposite of what, whatever, right?
Now, what we do know from a lot of this stuff, and this comes from, I believe, the annotated Empire Strikes Back script notes, is that there was some intent to have a visit to the Wookiee homeworld happen in a Star Wars sequel, like the original sequel, whatever Star Wars 2 was going to end up being.
Right. When Lee Brackett was writing the script, yeah.
But there were notes from Lucas about a Kashyyyk, a Wookiee homeworld called that.
Yeah.
And so
then later he's like, that sounds stupid.
Well, so here's the thing.
Okay.
It was when they were given, like, notes about stuff from Lucas, which he'd had very little involvement in the holiday special, but he didn't have none.
No, and once again, if you watch that documentary, he started out fairly involved and then kind of drifted away. But he was he wrote a treatment of some kind for it, I know.
And that is where the phonetic spelling of the Wookiee homeworld, Kashyyyk, shows up, is how he wrote it there.
Oh, there you go.
Now, this spelling that we see here is one that is a totally separate tangent, because what finalizes the Kashyyyk spelling that we're familiar with is a book that came out in 1978, honestly, really close to the holiday special. Now, this was called, let's find my notes here, The Wookiee Storybook.
Okay.
This was a book this was published in September of 1979. So a few years later, around Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
But this is the kind of the first thing that makes the holiday special more canon than it is, because it is a children's picture book about Lumpy's adventures on Kashyyyk.
Thrilling.
And it's about him like having to go collect some berries for Life Day or something.
Oh, yeah, whatever, yeah.
It was published by a publishing arm of Lucasfilm that existed for about 2 years called Black Falcon Limited, that was basically exclusively publishing children's material. This was storybooks, this was like activity books, and question and answer books about space from Star Wars.
Like I said, we were talking about this beforehand. It's one of those names I see come up in like discussions of Star Wars history, right? You're like, oh, yes. Once again, it's a name I haven't heard in a very long time.
Because they were also responsible for collecting and publishing the Star Wars newspaper strips, which we've talked about briefly in the past.
Yes.
This spelling, Kashyyyk, was used for the newspaper strips.
It's what's incredible about this time period, and I think it's one of the things that people love. I think it's one of the things people love about the holiday special, and it's one of the reasons we love doing this about this comic book. Is this is a time when people didn't have their ducks in a row. Now, when something comes out branded under a franchise, everybody's having conversations with everybody. We got to make sure this all lines up, right? But this was back in a time when it's like, I don't know, do a newspaper, and no one's looking. There's not a lot of oversight on what's going on in the newspaper comic strip, right?
So, between July and September of 1979, a story in the newspaper strip ran in the comic there that was later called the Kashyyyk Depths, which was about like this, what would eventually be called the Shadowlands in canon. It's this idea on Kashyyyk of just like, okay, the Wookiees all live in the boughs of these trees, and everything near the ground of the trees becomes like darker and darker because the trees are so big, to when you get to the bottom of the forest, it's like almost a separate world where the sun doesn't exist. And this has been played with a few times in comics and video games. If you played Jedi Fallen Order, there's a whole level in that game that's where you're in the Shadowlands of Kashyyyk.
Right, yes.
So the whole... That happened 6 years before this comic that we're reading today was published.
Right. And so, presumably, then, like, Joe Duffy's looking at that as, like, what's the name of the Wookiee home? Oh, here it is.
Right. Because, again, at this point, we're, 7 years, 8 years out from the holiday special. Records of that are being suppressed.
What are you talking about? It never happened.
Right. So, them saying, like, Kashyyyk in that basically doesn't exist. The only like textual record we have of the Wookiee homeworld is in the newspaper strip comic and the children's books, which again, I don't know if Joe Duffy was referencing the children's picture books from 79.
Once again, we have no idea what they have around as source material, right?
But newspaper strips is probably a good bet, considering
that would be,
all of the people who were working on the newspaper strips were Marvel regular guys, like Al Williamson and Goodwin.
Perhaps they have an archive of that Joe Duffy can go, hey, let me take a look. Did they ever name that planet? Yes, they did.
Yeah, exactly. But they spelled it like this, Kazhyyyk.
Wow, that is wild.
That was the roller coaster I was on this morning.
And we applaud your service. We thank you.
Again, the whole like era of the newspaper strips, I'm so fascinated by. I want to track down there are these.
We've talked about doing the newspaper strips if we can.
They're hard. They're really hard to track down. I've tried. They've been reprinted a few times.
Yeah, and it's been reprinted in parts as well too. But it's hard to get.
Omnibus set that IDW put out like back in 2017, but they're out of print and they're a little harder to track down these days.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, just know, folks, we are working on looking for those, but don't hold
it's tough.
Yeah. Because we did talk about doing some of those. Anyway, here we are on Kashyyyk.
Let's just call it Kashyyyk. Come on.
It is Kashyyyk. Anyway, And Lando is like, well, they told me to land here, and I'm not. You don't want me breaking any laws. And then Han's like, oh, whoa, hey, buddy, whoa, Chewie, don't rip anyone's arms off.
Yeah, especially not Lando. We like him.
Yeah, he's a good guy now. Remember when he was a kind of a bad guy, but now he's a full on good guy.
Yeah,
that's how these stories go. Anyway, and so this is kind of weird conflict out of nowhere.
Yeah, Chewie is suddenly in a very bad mood, and we'll get into why, because on this next page, Han, this comic right here is sort of establishing this fact that during the reign of the Empire, the Wookiees were enslaved.
Well, it had to be, one of these side things, because the movies don't ever state that, do they? The original trilogy?
And then what will cement this history is 2 years after this issue. That's when we get the West End Games TTRPG that really fleshes out with like details a lot of the history of these worlds, like Coruscant, like Kashyyyk, like Corellia.
Right, exactly. Which are all sort of names thrown about in movies and stuff up to this point.
But when the deep nerds have to write a rule book about them, that's when we get all the details fleshed out.
Yeah, I mean, that is once again, it's that weird thing about, like, I fought with your father in the Clone Wars, and you're just like, what the hell's that?
Right.
Yeah, now we know. But yeah, but it is sort of like Han's like, Lando, let me give you a little history here about Kashyyyk.
And he does, and I really like this inset panel, actually, with Lando.
It's pretty moody and dark, and
Yeah, Han is sort of explaining that the Empire took over here and like enslaved the Wookiees, and the Empire's been overthrown thanks to us. But while they were still in power, no one felt as though they could be do more than the Wookiees did. They sent thousands of Wookiees, old and young, male and female alike, were sent to other worlds as slave laborers.
What's interesting about this is this once again raises questions that I don't expect the comic to answer because they just don't have the time. But it is things like, okay, once again, they overthrew the Empire. Well, does that mean that the Empire abandoned Kashyyyk, or did the Wookiees then use that to rise up against them? Unclear. We get a little bit of like what Kashyyyk is up to in the time of the Empire during shows like Rebels. Where yeah.
Like there's obviously a Wookiee resistance happening. We see some of that in Jedi Fallen Order as well.
Everything now, I'm talking about specifically in this moment here, because everything now has been, this stuff happened, but there's much more attention paid to it being a timeline, a longer timeline, and there's sort of being pockets of, yes, the head of the Empire was cut off, which sort of spread out to then these already existing resistance groups were able to overthrow individual planets and stuff. Whereas here, it just kind of seems like we overthrew the rebellion, which means Kashyyyk is free. Or we overthrew the Empire, and now Kashyyyk is free.
Yeah, and that's sort of what it seems like, at least on the surface here, because as they're walking around, they're just like, yeah, things seem okay, but there's a weird vibe in the air.
There is. And it's weird.
I will say the designs here are very reminiscent of some McQuarrie work that was done that was like supposedly going to be like whatever the Wood Village was going to end up being in Return of the Jedi. Yeah. But it also looks like a lot of the original concept art for Planet of the Apes, if you've ever gone back and looked at some of that.
Oh, who are you talking to? Yes. Yes, it does. I'm an ape maniac, so I'm a huge.
But there was originally kind of a more futuristic design to the ape civilization. Yes, Planet of the Apes.
The Rod Serling script was that they were going to be a technologically advanced society, and then Fox said, "And it will cost how much?" I don't think so. And they have the little like gyrocopter things and that and stuff. It's cool. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and so. Yeah, he's just like Han's like, just cut Chewie some slack.
Yeah, he's a little uptight because he hasn't seen his family in a while. Once he has some alone time with Mala, he'll be a lot better.
If you know what I mean. Get
that good Wookiee lovin'.
Yeah. And so they're walking around. They're going back into the village. I do like the Wookiees with belts.
I love pouches. A good utility pouch. Yeah, look, this is still a Marvel comic.
Yeah, of course. I But Lando goes, "Hey man, these Wookiees don't seem very happy."
Yeah, he's also weirded out by the fact that like everyone here's a Wookiee, which makes sense. You're on Kashyyyk.
I know that is kind of. I didn't expect that there'd be so many Wookiees around here on the Wookiee homeworld. What?
I just love the idea that like we're in the one instance in which humans are the minority, and suddenly Lando's feeling weirded
Lando's
out.
like, I don't like it. But yeah, he goes, "Hey, nobody's smiling. This is strange."
Yeah, and Lando's picking up on some vibes.
And I'm gonna stick next to you because these Wookiees look like they might hurt me.
Well, because he leans into Han here. He's like, Han, is it my imagination, or do all these Wookiees seem kind of unfriendly? Yeah. Han has a weird line, though, when he says, when it comes to Wookiees, who can tell anyway? It's like, Han Solo, you can tell.
Yeah, if there's one human who's very familiar with Wookiees, it's Han Solo. That's like one of his things.
Yeah. But they're making their way to Chewie's home, but they are stopped by... How do you describe this guy, John?
I mean, you said Frankenstein looking earlier, which is pretty accurate. And by that, of course, we mean Frankenstein's monster. We're using it for shorthand. It's okay, everybody.
But like movie Frankenstein with like the flat head and the weird like angular bowl cut.
Karloff Frankenstein. But, if he was a Guy Ritchie character.
Because it's this guy with a Frankenstein head. He's like pasty, like alabaster white skin, black hair, and he's just covered in knives.
Yeah, I love that the knives it doesn't look like they're individually like in a row, like you might have. They're all just kind of bunched up, like he's just stuffed as many knives as possible into his belt, and they're all kind of clung together.
They look like they're held on there by magnets.
He's got like one of those things like people have in their kitchens where it goes up on the wall.
But he wears it as a belt.
Yeah. But I absolutely read this guy's like, "Oh, I do beg your pardon. Am I on your way?"
It's Jason Statham.
Yeah, he's a Guy Ritchie goon. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And the balls on this guy to like stand in front of a Wookiee.
Yeah, because then Chewie roars at him and he does a yawn. Really? How rude am I? What a prick. And so Chewie and Han are like, that's weird.
Meanwhile, another bigger Wookiee comes around the corner and goes, "Oh, I think you might know each other." Because it turns out this is Mala's brother, Vargi.
Now, I don't believe is still in canon.
Yeah, Chewbacca's brother-in-law, Vargi.
Yeah, who's bigger and a real asshole.
Yeah, he's kind of a douche.
Yeah, absolutely. And he says he's Mala's brother, Vargi, Chewbacca's brother-in-law. Are you following all the familial relations here, Lando? And then I will say the design totally changes in the close-up of this guy. All of a sudden, he's got a weird, like, roundish face that's coming out at you.
Well, look, we've got a couple of bad cases of wildly different face in this issue for a few characters.
And then he's like, "Yeah, why don't we go back to Chewbacca's home and talk about this?"
Yeah, because apparently Chewbacca's being like lauded as a hero, but there's still like a weird vibe.
Yeah, and so he's talking to everything I read with him is like, "Oh, it's such a thrill for me to actually meet the legendary Chewbacca." Like he just feels like everything is so disdainful. You're quite the hero, yeah.
When they finally get around to asking this guy's name, he's just like, "Well, no Wookiee can pronounce my name, so they just call me Knife."
I don't know how they came upon that, but I'm cool with it. Does it have something to do with the 100 knives that are on your body? Oh, maybe. So they walk by and immediately you are like, what the hell is going on?
Because they walk up to Chewie's house, which looks like his place from the holiday special.
It does, and actually I will say it is not inconsistent with some of the Kashyyyk designs. I mean, they're tree houses and stuff like that. I mean, it's general.
What the Wookiee like architecture will look like really doesn't cement until way later when we get to Revenge of the Sith, right?
Yeah, that's our first real deal, like fully realized look at it, right?
Right. And we get like stuff like this. We'll get stuff from RPG books that just like gives us the vibe of like, okay, this is some Swiss Family Robinson treehouse meets technology sort of vibe.
And immediately, I just like, well, nobody's home, and Chewie's like, they're not home.
Yeah, Chewie, big on the overreactions right now. Chewie knows something's up.
I mean, and he's right, but it does feel like Chewie might play it a little cooler.
Yeah, Lando's like, hey, just calm down. Maybe they didn't know we were coming. Maybe they just stepped out for a second.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's not like the place is on fire or something like that. Chewie's just like, no one's here. Ow!
That's part of the weird vibe so far. Is just like nothing's on fire, no one's being shot at. Everything just feels like really tamped down and like uncertain.
Everyone's a little bummed. Yeah, like it's there's a general. Anyway, and so they go inside because Chewie, I presumably, has the keys.
Well, no, they like go somewhere else. They because they're not
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're hanging out and they're just like, look, something's weird. Something's off.
Yeah, but I don't know what. And I mean, and to be fair, Lando is kind of like, I don't know what Kashyyyk is normally like, so.
Yeah.
And,
but now we're following a guy named Knife. What's up with that?
Well, and it's really bad when Knife just hurls one of his knives at Lando.
But it's fine because he was doing it to kill a flame beetle.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah, those. I like that. That Han's like, those are poisonous. So
thanks.
Always happy to oblige.
Yeah, Knife just raising a cup.
Yeah, it's why I have so many knives.
But then there's a kerfuffle, and what's this? It's Lumpy.
Yeah, not really looking like he does in the holiday special, and that's okay.
Thank God.
And then my favorite Wookiee with an eye patch.
Wookiee with an eye patch. You know he's a mean Wookiee because a Wookiee with an eye patch swoops in, blaster drawn, and grabs Lumpy.
I just like the idea of how do we convey this is a bad Wookiee? Eye patch.
Well, we hadn't quite landed on, but what if we made him scary and black?
Yeah. Oh, black or satin. What a cool
Black Chrysanthemum rules. But admittedly, maybe the instinct of what if the big black guy was scary is maybe a little racist?
But he's literally black. He's not a black man.
I know.
He's literally the color black. So I'll go with it there.
But anyway,
that in general, that color is
this particular Wookiee is bad because he has an eye patch, and this we all know.
Yeah. Well, also, he's immediately putting the gun in the face of a child.
Yeah, that's maybe also another giveaway.
Yeah. Yeah. And, of course, I do like Knife being like, you idiots.
Because it seems like Lumpy made his way out without them meaning to do this. So now they sort of have tilted their hand that this is all a trap. Because, of course, it is.
And Han is like, all right, what's going on here? It's time to talk.
Oh, nothing, General Solo. In case you hadn't noticed, my allies and I have the three of you covered.
Yeah.
Because, three more Wookiees have come in, all with guns drawn, and they are cornering Chewbacca, Lando, and Han.
Yeah. And Han has put it together. The Empire may have left, but this guy's running a slave trade now on Kashyyyk.
Okay.
The rest of this... So many questions about how this happened.
So many questions. Because I do love this guy being like, the Empire? Do you believe I'd represent that pathetic little outfit? Like, implying that he works for someone bigger and more dangerous.
Yeah, I don't even know what that would be.
Well, John, let me tell you. This is my no prize for this.
Oh, God, here we go.
This guy works for the Chiss Ascendancy.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's right. The same extragalactic organization that has sent Grand Admiral Thrawn to figure out what's going on with this galactic empire thing on the far side of the galaxy in the unknown regions. The Chiss Ascendancy is a large governmental military dictatorship that is trying to hold back an extragalactic threat. And they're wondering if the Empire is going to be useful in that coming conflict. Now, they have sent agents throughout the galaxy to figure this out, and maybe one of them is this motherfucker.
Yeah, I think maybe is doing a lot of work there. But yeah, what it seems like, just based on this comic alone, is like the Empire left, but there was still enough of like their slave trade left in place that this guy just immediately swooped in and took over.
I guess. The fact that he's got Wookiees going along with him is just like, wow, there's some bad Wookiees here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess maybe weird to think that these people were in league with the Empire too.
I guess, yeah. I mean, we haven't really established the whole like Trandoshan Wookiee rivalry and subjugation thing yet here.
But I mean, that's the only way this makes sense to me, is if these guys were already like turncoats against their own people.
Sure, yeah. But we do have Chewbacca roaring at him, and then Knife just pistol whipping Chewbacca, which is not something I'd ever seen.
Well, it also kind of requires Chewie to bend down to do it.
Get down here so I can smack you.
Why is Chewie on one knee is unexplained.
Yeah, I don't know.
Quiet, you miserable buffoon. No, could you kneel, Daddy? There you go. And I like what's the brother-in-law's name?
Vargi.
The he's back behind, just being like, I like it when Chewbacca gets hit.
Right. Chewbacca gets up ready to pop this guy's head off, but Knife is like, oh, well, you don't want to do that because we got someone else here to show you. And they wheel out Mala.
Yeah. Oh, that's really low, Knife, even for you.
What kind of scum are you, anyway?
And then he pistol whips Han Solo.
This guy loves to pistol whip people.
I mean, it is kind of a particularly shitty bad guy move, right? Like
yeah. I'm not even going to deign to shoot you. I'm just going to hit you with the butt of the gun.
Yeah. The idea that this guy just came in and took over so easily is crazy to me.
We have no context for how this happened. No, none at all.
Which both makes no sense, but also allows it to happen because there's no explanation of how it would or wouldn't have happened.
Because the implication has always been that, like, okay, it is the overwhelming might of the Empire that actually even made the enslavement of the Wookiees possible.
Oh, yeah, and like that makes sense because we see them crush everyone under their boot. So you're like, oh, yeah, of course, yeah, they have unlimited resources and people, basically.
Right. So how one albino Frankenstein could get it done, not quite sure.
Yeah, this guy who doesn't really seem that threatening, except for the fact that he's got so many Wookiees on his side. Him alone, he's just a weird guy with some knives.
If anything, I think it would be a little bit more interesting if it were Vargi who were the guy in charge, and this guy's just a mouthpiece.
That would be actually interesting, where it's just like, no, I wanted to keep my power, and now that the Empire's gone, I'm in charge. Would have been a much more interesting story. But no. It's
a weird albino Frankenstein. And he's going to say, hey, lock up Lando and Han, grab Chewbacca, we're going to sell us some slaves.
And parade him out specifically so people can see the great Chewbacca in chains.
The sight of the mighty Chewbacca in bondage should do much to demoralize the Wookiees and speed up the dissolution of any remaining resistance.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what you're going to get. I got Chewbacca. I always want to, every line he has, I just want to give it the shittiest, like, yeah. Yeah.
So they leave Han and Lando chained up in this building under a couple of guards while the rest of the Wookiees are frog marched out of here.
And of course, Han and Lando are no strangers to handcuffs.
No, of course not. They're immediately picking each other's handcuffs.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, okay, we do this again. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're marching Chewbacca out. The particularly sad image of all the Wookiee children, which, by the way, is just the same Wookiee child colored different colors. But
yeah, of course. I mean,
yeah,
most of the Wookiees are just the same Wookiee colored different colors. There's a couple of green Wookiees like in the coloring in this page.
I don't remember ever seeing them in any of the movies, but that's okay.
Well, one of them would end up living in the mountain above Whoville, John, and he just hated Christmas so much.
He hated Life Day the most. I love there would be a Grinch equivalent Wookiee for their story.
Yeah, it's called the Gronch.
That I want to see. Chewbacca's reading Lumpy that.
The Gronch who stole Life Day.
Yeah.
Get on that, Lucasfilm.
Yeah, come on, guys. That's money. You guys like money. So anyway, yeah, they're being marched away, but Han and Lando have already escaped, so.
Yeah. We just cut to, they got out of there. Of course they did. It's Han and Lando.
Mm-hmm. And so
they're in the trees. They're seeing, yeah.
And so their big plan here is they're going to, let's see, Lando's going to distract the guards, and Han's going to get on one of the ships to call out with a distress call.
Other way around.
Yeah, while you're getting yourself killed, I try to get. Oh no, right. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. Yes, you're
speech
right.
Bubbles. Han's going to distract everybody. Meanwhile, Lando's going back to the Falcon, grabbing guns, getting on the radio, calling for help.
Yes. And so yeah.
So they do that.
They do.
Han slips out,
uncuffs Chewie.
Yep.
And then they're immediately surrounded by a rainbow of Wookiees.
We got a yellow, we got a green, we got a brown, we got another green.
These are the Wookiee Power Rangers.
Oh, I'd read that book. Super Sentai Wookiees. Let's go.
There you go. By the way, did you see Super Sentai ended?
Really?
After 50 years, Super Sentai has aired its last episode.
What will the Saban Corporation recut?
Well, now Disney owns the rights to Power Rangers, and they're doing their own thing with all original footage.
They've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, they're doing new stuff. They no longer, they're like, we can film our own stuff. It's okay. Anyway, so here's the fight we've been waiting to see: the brother versus brother-in-law SmackDown, husband versus brother-in-law SmackDown.
Yeah, I didn't notice this before this panel, but Vargi does have a big, nasty scar across his face. That means he's evil, too.
Yes. That's very Bond villain coded. But it appears that their fight is the two of them just slugging each other with haymakers.
I mean, it's kind of one-sided here. Chewie's not getting a punch in.
Yeah. I guess that's true. It's just Vargi, just right hook, left hook, right hook.
I mean, Chewbacca really can't afford to fight back really at this moment because they've got his wife and son.
Yeah. Because Han even says that. It's like, take it easy. He's not even trying to defend himself. Blast you. That's not something Han Solo would say. Blast you.
Talk about things Han Solo wouldn't do.
Uppercut a Wookiee?
Okay. You really got to join us over on YouTube to check this one out because,
it's amazing.
This panel of Han Solo suddenly gigantic uppercutting a Wookiee.
Well, that's it's kind of like Chewie kneeling down earlier. To do these moments, they have to really mess with these things. It's like Wookiees are much taller than people.
Yeah,
so it makes no sense.
He's basically having to perform a Shryuken from Street Fighter to
Yeah, you have to assume he's off the ground.
Yeah.
And even still, Vargi's a little bit to the side anyway. And so it's this, just going how would you possibly? Wha-bam!
Shryuken.
Yeah. Stop it!
It stops all the Wookiees in their tracks for a half second before Han is then knocked clean off his feet by another haymaker from Vargi.
And then, Vargi is apparently going to start beating him. But then Chewie with a rifle?
Well, no,
not
these are just
Chewie.
other Wookiees watching on as Vargi beats the ever-loving crap out of Han Solo.
As they go, hurruff, 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 hurruff. Which I guess is Wookiee laughing.
I guess. Because, yeah, they're getting the hell beat out of him, but then Chewie picks himself back up and starts attacking Vargi's bad Wookiees.
Does Chewie throw a Wookiee into Vargi?
No. So Chewie is fighting like 3 of these guys. He throws a blue one into a brown one. He punches a pink one.
But he does throw one. Yeah, he punches a pink one, who also lets off a shot while he's punching.
Then he body tosses another brown one into the ground, slamming his back into the earth, and then lunges at Vargi.
Out of nowhere with the body slam. Never in my life have I seen such a move.
Chewbacca pulls out the aluminum folding chair and just goes to fucking town.
Oh my God, he is getting a chair. This is crazy.
Then he takes Vargi into Hell in a Cell, and
because then they start tussling.
Yeah, Chewbacca comes in and they start wrestling, and then Knife comes out with his knives.
What is happening here?
Oh, wait, but it really can't be helped.
Yeah, and then he goes to throw one of his iconic knives.
What else is a guy named Knife supposed to do?
Han says, "No, Chewie, watch your back." But before he can throw the knife, it's shot out of his hands by Lando Calrissian.
Why doesn't Han just shoot this guy in the face?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, Lando shoots the knife out of his hand. Like, he could have shot him center mass.
Yeah, it does feel like this guy just needs to die.
Yeah. But anyway, Lando's here. Sorry to interrupt. I got Chewie's family back. And here's Lumpy and Mala and Itchy.
Yeah, Mala. Yeah. There you go, everybody. Nice timing, pal. And nice shooting, too. As you would say, that I would have shot him in the head. But,
And finally, Han is like, see, Chewie, your family's okay. Don't pull your punches anymore.
And that gives him the strength of the Hulk as he sends Vargi flying across this platform.
Yeah, apparently Chewie's concern for his family was making him hold back, and now that he doesn't need to worry about that, he goes full force and just power throws Vargi and tosses him into infinity and beyond.
And then my favorite is Knife just going, "Well, I'm out of here."
Drat, I appear to have misjudged this entire operation.
I'll be back, though. And presumably once again, it does seem like it was just this guy. Because without him, it seems like we're back to normal.
This guy has such like a Hondo-coded exit here. There's that episode of Clone Wars where Hondo is just like kind of the bad guy of the episode. And at the very end, he's like, "This enterprise is no longer profitable." And then just leaves.
Yeah. I guess that's what Knife is an even shittier Hondo.
Oh, well, no one's better than Hondo. He's the best there is.
Hondo, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And he knows when to cut his losses and just go,
Yeah. So all the Wookiees are cheering. Chewie's family is with him. Han is trying to give chase to Knife, but all the Wookiees are hugging him and stopping him.
And then Han promises, "This is going to be my new arch nemesis."
So, because Knife steals the Cobra, Lando's ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Han is like, "So Knife got a clean getaway in a fast ship. Well, you can count on one thing, Lando. I'm going to track him down and set up a little rematch as soon as I can."
Because you know who else has a fast ship famously? Me. Called the Millennium Falcon. The whole thing about it.
But yay, Chewie's reunited with his family. His canonical, actually exists family.
This is such a weird story, though. There's so many convenient things here that really work for this plot.
The fact that they felt the need to, this early in the franchise, and obviously didn't start here, but like this definitely cements some stuff about like, we're going to be dealing with the fact that people are going to acknowledge and accept and have to work around the holiday special forever. Because artists and writers in this medium will always look at that as this weird foible of Star Wars history that is mostly reworked into the franchise continually, kind of as a joke.
Yeah, or like, I mean, I think a lot of the Favreau stuff is it's very winky at the very least, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put in the tuning fork gun because I remember that when I was a kid. But it's not like that's an important thing we need to bring back. It's more just like, that was kind of a fun design. Wink. Remember that? Remember where that came from? And most people probably don't and just go, that's a cool gun.
But for every one of little like winky naughty references, we also have a Lego Star Wars holiday special or a Life Day issue one shot that like firmly makes more in the public consciousness things that were attempted to be scrubbed from the canon.
Right. They will never canonize the holiday special, but it is, I mean, it's a little bit like they play, I mean, in a weird way, it's a little bit like they play with the expanded universe novels, right? Where it's like, hey, that's a good idea. We'll just yank that in and that's kind of, and all of it is fine. I mean, really, like the idea about there being a Christmas equivalent for Wookiees. Sure. And the idea that Chewbacca is a family. Okay. That's not an inherently bad idea. How you execute that is going to matter more than the idea that he has a family.
Or like the weird daytime talk show hosts that suddenly got recontextualized to actually exist in Andor.
Yeah.
Like there's these little pits that will never stop leaking out of the holiday special. And
one of the things I really like about modern Star Wars is that nothing gets thrown away. Yeah. They are always willing to go back to concept art, video games, whatever, and just go, if an idea is good, it's good. And we can use it. It's all about how you use it. It really is the idea that there are no bad ideas. It's the Len Wein comment about there are no bad comic book characters. There are only bad writers, And so the idea, like, once again, it's like, oh yeah, you can have him have a wife and son if you actually make it, oh, they were imprisoned and enslaved and separated, and it's like an emotional story for Chewbacca. Okay, well, suddenly that's compelling and fits with his character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is stuff like that where it's all about just like, oh, yeah, these are ideas. And if you're going to give him a wife and son, let's have them be named something equivalent to that as a nod to those who know. And if you don't, you don't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. We don't have to keep calling them Lumpy and Itchy. We can say Adachiktok or Lumpawaru.
Yeah. Just as long as we never canonize his father's love of disco divas.
Maybe too strong of a love, let's say.
Yeah. No matter who's around.
Yeah. In the middle of the freaking living room.
Ooh. One of the weirdest, where you're just like, there is no other way to interpret that scene. I don't know what. I like, it's just what are you doing here? What is this? Yeah, weird. It's weird. There's a lot of weird stuff in there, but like I said, watch the documentary. Don't watch it because there's also just there's so much Shri-Wook that is not subtitled, and it's one of the weirdest things in it.
But anyway, speaking of weird things, next issue is The Dream, and we're gonna get trippy.
Ooh. A Marvel comic getting trippy? I'd never in my life have I seen such a thing.
I mean, usually we reserve that from the 60s, but no. We're going to get a little on the like mystical side. We're going to have another issue with Darth Vader on the cover, I'll say that much. But we get a new penciler, and we get some different bits of the creative team, but it's still Joe Duffy doing the plot here. We get into some like prime 80s comic book art here, but we'll get into it.
Very good. Very good. Well, we'll talk about that next week. But of course, if you want more from us in the interim, head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchup. That's punchup ENT. You can get cool exclusive bonus content as well as help out all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. The aforementioned back catalog of Panel Up episodes are on there.
Yeah,
all of the Panel Up episodes are on there, and I'm working on tracking down all of our Panel on Panels days, and we're going to get those up there at some point too.
The ancient texts.
Yeah, those will also be on there, and so we have a whole archive of lots of our old content there that you can listen to amongst a bunch of new stuff too.
And if you want even more new stuff, you can find it over on YouTube, youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. Best way to read this book, you can read along with us. You can see Han Solo uppercutting a Wookiee.
Oh boy, what a moment that was.
But you can also find all of our YouTube exclusive stuff, like Punch Up Plays, as well as our Punch Up exclusive Matcom mini campaigns, as well as the new incarnations of the Action Shelf and what's the other one called?
The horror.
The horror section.
Yeah. Check those out.
Please check those out. Have a good time while you're there. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know in the comments below. What's your favorite bit from the Star Wars Holiday Special? Give me your well-rounded and well-researched review of the Holiday Special, because I know you've watched it, you sickos.
I think any, hardcore Star Wars fan has at least checked it out, right? Don't you have to, out of just morbid curiosity?
I did say sickos, John.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's going to do it, I think, though.
That will do it for us this week. As always, I have been Mike Gargoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.